Hello, welcome to a Paper Flourish craft video. My name is Julie. Today I'm going to make a soft spine journal. This is one I've already made, so I'm going to take you through the process of making a journal like this. So we're going to make the cover, make the signatures to go inside. I've got 2 signatures in this one, and show you how I did this. It's not hard to do, and it's a really lovely project to make with these Stamperia fabrics. We have many of these fabric packs in store in so many of the different Stamperia collections. 4 pieces of fabric in each pack, and each piece is 12 by 12. And I'm going to use a piece today from the Stamperia Brocante Antiques Collection, which is just the most stunning collection. This one here I made using the Fortune, the newest collection Fortune, and I've used some twine. I coloured that with the Aqua colour sprays. I'll show you how to do a closure like this as well. But what a beautiful little gift. I've got 2 signatures in here. I'm going to do the same thing today. If you wanted to make this thinner, you just make your spine thinner, so it's not quite as wide. If you say just wanted to have 1 signature in there. A signature is that group of papers in the journal. It's a soft spine journal, so it's got a hard cover like this, hard cover, but the spine is soft, and I've made that. I'm going to use Stamperia stone paper to do that. So let's start this exciting process. I've already gone ahead and ironed this lovely piece of fabric. Back to the side. I have cut already some pieces of box board, which are going to be the hard covers, and these I have cut 4.5 inches by 6 inches, both of them. The spine, I've actually made this 1 1/8 inch by 6 inches. So this is cut out of, somewhere I had it here, can't find it, Stamperia stone paper. And it's a wonderful, durable product. Said you can cut it, but you cannot rip it. So it's extremely strong to use in a project. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to completely cover one side of each of these pieces with double-sided tape. Now you could use strips of, say, 1/2 inch. We've got all different widths of double-sided tape, but this stuff is fantastic. The roll of it, I call it the toilet paper. If you've seen me in store, you know I always call it the toilet paper because it looks like a toilet paper roll. Don't use it as toilet paper. 4 or just under 4 inches wide, the one I have is. So this is a really quick way to attach that adhesive to one side. So it just peels off, where are we, like this, and you can stick it down, cut it, but a really quick way to put that adhesive onto a large area. So I'll go ahead and do that to all 3 pieces. I'll use my double-sided tape as well, just to cover the pieces that aren't covered by the toilet roll. I should mention too, you will see in the description of the video, I'll list all the products I use, but on our website, don't Google toilet roll, you won't find it. It's called Die-Cut-N Bond. This product is a Couture Creations product, the one we have in store. So they've got the adhesive on them now. I'm going to bring over this lovely piece of fabric. Now I need to leave around about 1 inch the whole way around what's going to be the cover, so I can fold that over to neaten those edges. So I'm just going to place these on here just to give me an idea where it all needs to go. We might not quite have 1 inch, but that'll be all right. That should be enough to fold over. You want to leave just a small gap in between the box board and the and just a tiny little gap in here, probably even maybe about 1/16 of an inch. You could leave there just between the stone paper and the box board. So I'm going to end up with just probably, how much is that on this piece? Just under 3/4 of an inches, round about, but it'll be enough to fold it under. So I'm going to take the adhesive off the first piece. I can do that. Take off the cover, sorry, not the adhesive, and I'm going to stick this down into position. So I'll definitely leave that good inch at the bottom, just enough to turn under on the side. I find a good way as you're attaching the pieces to make sure the edge, it stays aligned. I just place my ruler along the top. Here's the piece of stone paper, taken off the covers. So this way I can just make sure that top edge is in line. Just leave that tiny little gap between the pieces. I'm not leaving as much of a gap as I would if I was making an album. If you've seen my album construction videos, you'll understand what I mean. And then the last piece, the same. I'll go ahead and attach it the same way. So they're attached now. I'm going to grab my scissors. These are my Tim Holtz scissors. I think they'll cut the fabric nicely. They do. And I'm just going to cut this away, that top piece away, leaving round about that inch to turn under. And here we are. So that's all stuck down. The piece that I cut off the top, I'm going to use that on the inside. I want it to go just from the top through to the bottom edge. So I'm going to go back to my trusty die-cut and bond. Place that down, trim it off, and then I'm going to peel off the cover and attach that fabric in place. Now, once I attach that fabric on there, I did trim the bottom edge. It's a little bit rough, it doesn't matter, it's about to be covered. I'm going to, just to help neaten the corners, I'm going to trim these off, just diagonally cut them, leaving that little bit of fabric outside of the box board corner. Now I've applied the double-sided tape using the 1/2 inch wide one along the edge of the fabric and along the edge of the box board. Up the top, once I've put the edge of the double-sided tape on, at the moment it doesn't matter so much these areas, but I'm going to trim that along the edge of the double-sided tape so I get a bit of a neater finish. It's along the spine is where you're going to see that edge, so if we can neaten that off as much as possible. It'll just give a slightly nicer look to it, hopefully. Okay, at this point I'm going to take the double-sided tape off those long edges and adhere them down. We want to make sure the fabric's nice and tight up against the bottom of the box board. Just so again you get that nice crisp edge to it. Just like that. Do the same on the other side. The easiest way I found I want to fold in the corner just to make sure that box board doesn't escape out of the corner once that fabric's folded over. I've just got, this time I've got the 1/4 inch wide double-sided tape and I've run it along the edge of the fabric next to the box board. I'm just going to take off the cover and then I'm just going to use that just to bring this corner over a little and stick it down. It doesn't matter if it's not super duper neat, but I just want to make sure that corner doesn't escape. I'll do the same on the other side, but at this point I'm going to do the same thing. Now those corners are folded in. Let's pop some double-sided tape along here and along the edge of the fabric and fold up that shorter edge. So I'll go through that same process on the other side. And that's all done. You can see by folding in those corners, it gives a really nice, clean, neat edge onto the journal cover. Folds in so easily, especially with that soft spine and the fabric. Now I'm just going to round that spine just a little bit. Just round it so it'll sit nicely over those signatures when they're in. So there's the journal cover. Isn't that fabric just absolutely beautiful? Stunning. To neaten the inside, I've found that the Kaisercraft Cardstock Caramel, this is the caramel colour, that looks quite nice on the inside. So I'm going to cut this just a little bit smaller, just slightly smaller than those box board pieces. So I might go, where are we? That's 4.5. So maybe we'll do 4 3/8 by 5 7/8. And then I'll stick those in, again with some double-sided tape, maybe a bit of Stamperia craft glue as well, in the middle to hold it down. So I've already popped the double-sided tape just on the back of that caramel cardstock. I thought it might be nice to ink the edges before I stick them down. And I'm using the Stamperia Coffee Dye ink pad. I love these Tim Holtz tiny blending tools for the edges. They are fantastic. You could even distress the edges if you wanted to. Right, I'm ready to pop the eyelets in. So if I show you the journal, the fortune journal I did, I've got 2 at the top and 2 at the bottom because I'm using those 2 signatures. Now I felt when I made this, I actually placed them a little bit close to the end. So this time I've made some marks just with my pen, 5/8 of an inch in, and I've sort of just gone, sort of cut it almost into thirds, I guess. And I've set, I'm going to use my Crop-a-Dile. I have set the largest hole to 5/8 of an inch, and I'm going to go ahead and make those holes in those spots. The colour eyelets I'm going to use are from the Aqua collection. I've gone with this colour here. No, sorry, this one here I've chosen. However, there's so many different colours in here. You could use a range of colours. But I thought this one would look quite pretty, so I'm going to pop one of those into the Crop-a-Dile. So easy to use, this thing. There we are. Pop that through the hole and clamp it in place. So that's one done, just like that. I think that colour looks really pretty with it. So I'll go ahead and do all 4 the same. So those eyelets are all in place. Now I've also added 2 holes just fairly close together in the middle, which is eventually where I'm going to thread the elastic closure through. If you've got one of the larger Crop-a-Diles, they will make those holes. When I made this, I actually pierced it just with my bricking tool and pushed the elastic through, which worked as well. Today, I actually found this in my stash the other day. I don't even know if these are still available. I don't think we've ever had them in store, but I probably bought it at somewhere like Spotlight, an eyelet setter. And there's 3 sizes, and I've actually used that today, the middle size one, to make those holes. So I thought I'd give it a go, and it worked. But I said we do not have those in store, but that is what I've used today to make those holes, because I don't have one of those larger Crop-a-Diles. So that's all ready to go, the cover. So now I'm going to make the signatures. So I'll just pop that to the side. Now the signatures can be made out of a variety of product. I have already cut some pages ready to go in. I have cut some of the caramel cardstock. Yep, thought they would look nice. It tucked in there. This is Neenah Paper. Now, Neenah Paper is awesome because it's off a little bit of a more of a vintage white. We have this in store. It is going to be online. I'm not sure if it is at the moment, but if not, ring the store. We have heaps of it in stock. But can you see the difference when I put it up against, say, just a piece of white photocopy paper? The difference in colour. It's a really nice smooth finish to it, good quality as well to work on. But this is really nice paper to pop into your journals. And I've also got some Lokta paper, Lavinia Lokta paper, that beautiful natural fibre. I thought that would look really nice in the, just tucked somewhere into the signatures as well. So I'm going to, I haven't folded this as yet. You could get out your scoring board and fold it. I probably should tell you the measurement I've cut at the moment is, I did this 8 7/8 inch by 5 7/8. So I'm going to fold one of these in half and just test it out in the journal cover. Where's my scoring tool? There it is. Before I do, just in case I have to change the width. So I'm just going to pop one of those in there, bring it up against the end. It fits nicely into the journal. So I'm going to go ahead and fold all of these pieces in half. Right, I've gone ahead and made the 2 signatures and made a mixture of the 3 different types of paper and pop them together. Just going to, what I'm going to do here, I've already done it on this side. pop the pages in where they're going to be approximately on the journal. Make a little mark on the spine with just that outside piece, and then can work out, I'll put together, around about where I'm going to use the large hole again of the Crop-a-Dile, and we want to make sure that hole is over that mark, and I'm going to go through all pieces. They're amazing, these things, these Crop-a-Diles. There we go. And they're ready to then place into the journal cover. Well, I've been having a play because I had an idea of how to put the signatures into the journal, and I didn't know if it was going to work, and it has, so I'm super excited. And so I've got one in there, and let me take you through the process of how I did it. This is another piece of the fabric from the Brocante Antiques Collection, and I'm going to rip this into ribbons. So I'm just going to make a cut, and using all my strength here, I'm going to rip that and make a couple of ribbons. I'm extremely excited that this actually worked. So I didn't know if it was going to or not. But another great use for your fabric. So I've got 2 ribbons here because I'll need the 2 lengths to be able to one is not long enough to attach the pages in. So I'm going to grab one of these gorgeous pieces of fabric, and I'm going to use my pricking tool to push it through the eyelet, thread it through. Okay, thread it a fair way through, and then picking up my signature, I'm going to pop it through. I apologise if you don't like fiddly things, because this is going to get a little bit fiddly, but it's so worth it. Let's bring that through here. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. So I'm threading that fabric through. Again, just use your pricking tool to push it through, thread it through. It's such soft fabric that it'll go through those holes without a problem. I'm going to thread this now through the top of the signature. Through those holes. No technical stuff here. Not really. Okay. And then I need to thread this now through that top eyelet on that side. Just working on one of the sides. I've already got the other one in there. I like using the fabric for this. This is going to look so good, and it all matches in with the collection that way. So you can see what I've done. I've threaded it through from the back. Here's the ends of it here, but it's threaded through the pages, so that'll hold it in place. Now this is not long enough to tie up. Only just reaches in the middle. So I'm going to grab my other piece here, and I'm going to tie these 2 together at the top, and they kind of look nice left at the top like I've done with these. I might trim those down a little bit more in a minute. I'll see, make a nice knot there. Let's pull that through, and then nice and firm. You want to hold those pages in place. I'm going to attach the longer piece to that piece at the bottom, tie those up as well, close to the eyelet as you can. Do a good double knot there to hold it in place, and that's attached that signature in there. That'll hold it in place, and then depending on what lengths you end up with, you can always trim those pieces off a bit. I kind of like that, a little bit of a tattered look to the journal. I'll leave some a bit longer, some a bit shorter. Might even tie a few more pieces along the middle. We'll see once I've put the elastic on. You can always add bits and pieces later on if need be. Some ribbon might be nice as well, mixed into all of that. Doesn't that look cool with the fabric? Oh, all right. Now at the moment, this just pops open, doesn't it? So I need to make an elastic closure to hold the journal closed when I'm not using it. This is some millinery elastic, which I bought at Spotlight. Tim Holtz story sticks. These have words and some have numbers on them as well. They look really cool on the closure for the journal. So I'm going to thread this elastic. This is the inside here of the journal. I'm going to thread it from the out to the front. Now this is going to be the front of my journal. I'm going to come underneath that front piece of fabric, that strip of fabric holding the signatures in. I'm then going to thread my metal on. I'm going to thread it from the front through to the back. It tends to sit nicer that way on your journal. And then closing that up, I'm going to wrap this elastic around. I'm going to thread it back underneath the other piece of fabric and then through the other hole back into the middle of the journal. Pull those closed. Right. Point, I'm going to trim that off so I have my two ends here and I have my piece that wraps around the side. So what I need to do is, it's a little bit fiddly this part, but it's it will work. Hold that nice and firm, work out how firm we want that elastic to be and pull on those pieces. So that's holding it in quite nice and firm there. I'm then going to hold that carefully, undo that elastic, open up the middle of the cover, tie these two pieces together without pulling it too tight. So we've already worked out around about how tight we want that elastic to be. So I'm going to do a double knot and then I'm going to test it out before I add another couple of knots into that as well. Right, so let's try this elastic out. So wrapping it around. Now I've actually done that a little bit too tight, I think. So I'm going to undo it, redo it, just loosen it up a little bit and then tie it again. All right, that's lots better the second time round. I just undid that double knot, retied it. So you want enough hold to hold the journal together, but you don't want so much that it's going to be too tight. Now I'll go ahead now, I've only got that double knot, so I'm just going to tie another couple of knots on there, trim off the ends, and you know, this journal is almost done. So here's the journal. See how that metal, I kind of like it when it just sits on the side like that. You could bring it around to the front if you wanted to, but it just kind of sits nicely there. So I'll just show you before, I'm going to attach a die cut onto the front, but just showing you the journal. There's all the pages in there to work on. You could do anything with this. You could make it a little journal, decorate these with some, whether it be some of the lovely ephemera, the papers, the stamping. You could ink the edges of the pages, second signature. You could use it as a little journal even, little notebook type of thing. And then closing it up with the elastic. Now, one more thing, I think I'm going to use this on the front. This is one of the Brocante die cuts, the shop front, and I think that will just finish it off. I am going to ink the edge of that with the coffee ink pad. That would look nice. And then I'm going to stick it on the front with the 450 glue, and then I will show you the finished product. I think that looks quite sweet on the front, that die cut. I'm not going to add any more to it, but I don't want to make it too bulky on the front because then when I'm working on the inside, it's a little bit uneven. That big die cut though, that just works there. So that is the Brocante journal. My two signatures inside. I do like that fabric holding them into the journal. Another use for the Stamperia fabrics. Let's close it up. I'm not going to add any ribbons. I thought I might add some extra ribbons and decoration, but I kind of like the fabric just as it is. Story on the side. So that's the front and then the back. All done. Thank you so much for watching the video, for joining me today, and please enjoy these beautiful fabric collections. What a wonderful gift to be able to give to someone. And there's so many of these Stamperia fabric collections in stores. I said this is the one made with the Fortune collection. but I kind of like the Brocante one. This will be in store very soon, so you can have a look at it if you're able to get into Paper Flourish. It all will be there. Always pop it on the front counter, the latest projects. Thank you. Enjoy your day, and I'll be back again soon with more videos. Bye.